chastity, humility, patience, charity, diligence, temperance, and kindness. These are the 7 heavenly virtues, and in the Genshin Impact content creator space, there are 7 creators which these virtues could be attributed to. With the virtue of charity, chastity. Bro, alright, scrap this whole intro. Chastity is defined as a lack of immorality or impurity. It's refraining from sexual intercourse, or at least the unlawful kind. To simplify, chastity is known as a high form of purity. Brand Online is a content creator with over 240,000 subscribers on YouTube and over 75,000 followers on Twitch. He makes content on different games, but after his explosion of popularity in the Genshin Impact scene, he's more or less stuck to that lane. His videos range from summoning to reactions to other miscellaneous games with chat. See, purity itself is defined as freedom from contamination, which in turn is known in gamer terms as a lack of toxicity. When it comes to a creator being devoid of toxicity, Brand Online stands near the top of the Genshin Impact creators. We're not gonna talk about his speed life, weirdo. But when looking at chastity as a purity, Brand Online has been one of the few creators to actively avoid being caught up in any drama. His content typically lacks any Coomer-esque qualities, as he prefers to point out the cute and otherwise huggable rather than the thirst traps. And for being an overall wholesome, unproblematic, and feel-good creator, Brand Online is the virtue of chastity. Humility is having a modest and fair view of yourself. It's somewhat synonymous with self-awareness, and prevents pride from crossing over the line and entering into arrogant territory. Tuanto is a creator with over 1.4 million on YouTube and 800,000 on Twitch. He's since branched out into more variety content, but during his time at his highest in the Genshin Impact category, his content ranged from challenges to summons to reactions. But a big part of Tuanto's content involved interactions with the community, whether that was giving back money, letting them join his world for challenges, letting them control his summons, dropping guides, or whatever. A large piece of the puzzle to Tuanto's success was never putting himself up on a pedestal, and instead putting himself at a level where he could interact equally with his community. Being humble doesn't mean seeing yourself as nothing. Being humble means judging yourself fairly. And Tuanto is someone who recognizes his fan base deserves the credit for getting him to where he is right now, so he doesn't treat himself as an idol. And that is, for lack of better words, a humble person. Patience is typically mistaken for the inability to get angry, but patience literally just means being slow to anger. It's the ability of someone to endure tough circumstances without succumbing to rage. Mtashed is a creator with around 1.5 million combined followers on YouTube and Twitch. In the Genshin Impact category, Mtashed has pretty much done it all. Reacts, guides, whaling, free-to-play, other game news, a rich shade of blues. What? But what set Mtashed apart from other creators is that he was unfiltered in what he was reviewing. If something was garbage, he'd call trash trash. If something was overpowered, he'd call broken broken. But with such a controversial approach to reviewing a game that's on top of the gacha category, Mtashed managed to garner many haters in the community. So much so that he also managed to get himself shadow banned by the company themselves. Despite the tsunami of backlash from the fanbase, Mtashed was slow to rage, and when he did snap, came more so in the form of pettiness through continuing what he was doing despite the people not being happy with it. Petty? Sure, but can you really call that anger? Even in the more recent drama between Hoyo creators, Mtashed was one of the few who remained level-headed and understanding of both sides while not exhibiting any favoritism towards one side or the other. Mtashed's willingness to control his justified feelings of anger is the virtue of patience. Charity is known as a willingness to give. It's often regarded as a want to give in terms of money, but let me tell you, charity actually goes a little bit further beyond that. It's known as a desire to give as an umbrella term, whether that be money, items, or even just giving time and effort towards somebody. I Win to Lose Gaming is a creator with nearly 400,000 subs on YouTube. To take their own words, I Win to Lose Gaming is a channel that focuses on analyzing characters, gameplay mechanics, compositions, and other tutorials that may help the player base. When considering charity as a willingness to give time and effort, I Win to Lose fits the virtue well. His content isn't only accurate and well planned, but it's also unbiased and raw. Pause. What I mean by that is he doesn't beat around the bush. Pause. If his research and calculations lead him to deciding something isn't worth it, then that's exactly what he'll say. If his guides are aimed at a whale versus a free-to-play player, then he'll make that line very clear as to avoid clickbaiting people. I Win to Lose Gaming was initially considered for the virtue of diligence for those reasons alone, but charity is also known as a love for people. And when you have a creator that prioritizes optimizing the game for new and old players alike over their own potential gain, then you end up with someone like IWTL, who not only has a willingness to give time and effort to others, but also possesses a great deal of respect for the people consuming his content. And that is the virtue of charity. Diligence is to be accurate, careful, and efficient in what you do. It's persistent effort, and it's exhaustive effort. Ziox is a creator with over 750,000 on YouTube and over 300,000 on Twitch. A good chunk of Ziox's content in the Genshin category was doing account reviews and restorations for people. He would go on people's accounts, review their characters, builds, team compositions, etc. But to be able to do something like that in the first place requires a great deal of knowledge. Did I just say requires? Lizzie McGuire? Bro, look, I'm sick right now. You may be able to hear it in my voice. Maybe you won't. My voice sounds the same regardless of if I'm sick or not. But my head's all over the place, so I'm having trouble talking. Ziox doing account reviews requires a lot of knowledge on what you're working with. And that leads us into another large part of Ziox's content, which revolved around guides. That is where the virtue of diligence comes into play. You see, to be an effective guide maker, you obviously need to know what you're talking about. And you won't be able to create revolutionary guides just by watching somebody else's. In order for Ziox to produce the content he does, it takes many hours of time and effort put into not only researching characters and builds, but also researching the characters that work around them as well to figure out what works and what doesn't work. Especially when there are characters like this who, holy, just let me play the game. I didn't pull her to read a light novel. Ziox saves people the time and stress of figuring things like this out by sacrificing his own time and working exhaustively to figure things out for the community. Now, I've never watched a Ziox video or stream, so you can correct me if I'm wrong and his guides aren't actually accurate, but regardless of fact or fiction, the point still stands that he puts in a lot of time towards producing his guides for every new character, and that is a diligent work ethic. Temperance is regarded as abstinence from alcohol, but that has nothing to do with the video, so I don't know why I even said that. Temperance is taking things considerately and exhibiting self-restraint or control. It's moderating your actions, feelings, and thoughts. Wop is a creator with 750,000 on YouTube and nearly 200,000 on Twitch. His content in the Genshin category could be anything from random moments to challenges to story quests or whatever. Honestly, his content is all over the place and it's a work of genius. He even advertises himself as Wop, who doesn't know what he's doing and just uploads videos. The Genshin Impact community has a tendency to make people butt heads, whether that be creator versus creator, creator versus viewer, or even viewers versus viewers. The tiniest thing could get somebody cancelled in Genshin Impact's community, and to have been so avidly excluded from any drama of any form, your content has to be made with great consideration for what'll set people off and what won't. But Bwop, like any creator, has had times where they've tried to cancel him. However, instead of responding in like, Bwop controlled his temper and decided to just move on. Something that 90% of creators can't do. Now, I don't know who Bwop is, and this virtue was pretty hard to find somebody for, so feel free to debate me on this selection, but I do feel that Bwop fits the virtue of temperance. Kindness is the quality of being considerate, generous, and friendly. It's being compassionate, and for the sake of this selection, kindness is synonymous with the feeling of warmness. J Kage is a creator with over 150,000 on YouTube and 4,000 on Twitch. His content is a healthy blend between showcasing his characters, summoning, and playing through different parts of the story to compile his favorite moments. When seeing a person of kindness as a person of warmth, J Kage could fit that shoe. See, his content is extremely upbeat, and he's the type of guy that doesn't take himself too seriously. If you don't know who J Kage is, I seriously recommend checking out his channel. I only found out who he was while doing research for this video, and it's fair to say that I'm now a subscriber. His humor is real and it doesn't feel like it's forced. His editing style is pretty simple, but perfectly, edited. I couldn't think of another word in time. His videos are easy on the mind, and they're the type of content you can watch if you're just looking to chill and be in a good mood. I don't care if it sounds like I'm glazing right now. Go check out the J Kage channel for yourself and then come back to this video so I can point at you and laugh in cliche school bully fashion. J Kage is a feel-good creator, and he is the virtue of kindness. I'll link all of the creators brought up in this video in the description box down below so you can check them out for yourselves to form your own opinions. I'ma catch y'all boys and girls in the next one, alright? We out this piece. Yeah.